Hey folks, I'm going to give you 4 tips that are psychologically based that'll change your game for managing weight loss if you have thyroid problems. Stay tuned.
Oh my God, that was perfect.
Is that a good one?
Yes, that was your good one.
A little bit of information about what I think is the most important part of weight loss, and that's the behavioral aspects that a lot of people don't remember. So a lot of people think weight loss and healthy eating is all about willpower. You just have to make yourself do things. And then when they fail, they think that they're a failure. They just didn't have enough willpower. Well, the reality is that you have to do a bunch of things that aren't that hard to do that can really enhance your willpower, or you won't even need willpower. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. If you have not seen Colleen's tips for weight management, go back and watch that, because that's a great foundation for this video. I'm talking really kind of narrowly about stimulus management. So tip number 1 is watch out for portion size. If you put stuff on a giant plate, just choose a smaller plate and then just eat what you have on the plate. Now don't pile it on so that it's 5 feet high. But one of the keys is having access only to the amount of food that you think you're going to eat. There's a really famous study out of Cornell University. I call it the stale popcorn study. And so what the researchers did is they gave folks that went to a theater popcorn to eat, but they made the popcorn more and more stale. They let it sit out. And if you just put the popcorn in big vats, people ate 34% more popcorn than they normally would, and that's even when it was stale. So that's the power of stimulus. What you have in front of you is really going to guide how much you eat, even if the food's not that good. Tip number 2 seems pretty obvious, but it's making sure that you don't have unhealthy food at home. If you never buy the food and put it in your home, you're not likely to go out and get in your car and go buy it when you're late at night and bored and stressed or whatever. So don't buy those chips, don't have them in your home, don't have the Doritos, the cake, the leftovers, all that. Just make sure that you don't have them in your home, because then you're trying to rely on willpower. And that is just, you've already halfway failed, because none of us have that amount of will. I know that my personal weakness is Doritos. If there's a bag of Doritos or good chips, I'm going to go back to them. I just need to not have them around. Colleen has this really cool thing that she does where if we had to have some unhealthy foods in the house because we had a party or something, she will immediately after the party drench the chips in water and then throw them away. And I know that sounds wasteful, but it's much more important to be healthy than worry about wasting food that's frankly unhealthy anyway. Another one that most people don't think about that can be really powerful is changing your surroundings. Now, I know I talked about not having unhealthy food in the kitchen, but I'm talking about changing the arrangement of your furniture, changing the arrangement of your television, of your workout clothes, of your bedroom. Is go into your house and look around. Is it the house that is really set up environmentally to be physically active and be kind of exciting and move you toward activity, or is it a house where a bunch of people sit around the TV or do sedentary kind of things? I know this isn't food management, but one thing I will tell people trying to quit smoking is don't have that side table that has an ashtray on it. That's just tells you to smoke again. It makes it too easy. Similarly, if you're trying to be healthier, make sure that your workout clothes are easily accessible. Make sure that your duffel bag is sitting right there so you can grab it. Remove all those environmental barriers to being active and create barriers to unhealthy activities. Create barriers to sitting there with a big giant bowl of food. Remove the TV trays. Don't have the side tables that you would munch out of. When you have these kind of items in your home, they all cue you to do old habits. It's called a conditioned response. So your environment really reminds you or triggers you to do habits that you've done over and over. So if you've done a lot of unhealthy things over and over and over, sitting in that couch or sitting in that lazy boy or whatever, it's great to move it around, because then you'll break that. The fancy word is paired association. It's an association between that environmental trigger and some unhealthy behavior like eating too many chips or any other unhealthy food. My fourth tip is one that's well known, but choose a shopping list and stick with it. That's a big stimulus management challenge, right? All these unhealthy foods are sitting in the grocery store that you can just grab off. Well, it's hard not to grab them, but at least if you have a list that doesn't have those items on it and you have an intention to not purchase those items when you go in, you are less likely to grab the items just spontaneously and throw them in the cart. So make sure you eat before you go shopping. Now that's less of a stimulus management and more of just being full when you go to shop. But if you are not hungry when you go shopping, you're much less likely to grab those items that are just so satiating and sound so yummy because they're either sweet or salty, you know, one of the things that all bad foods have in common. I will say though, you got to do stimulus management. You have to. And I hear a lot of parents and they say, wait, my kids like these kind of cookies, so I have to have them around or whatever. You're doomed. You will go eat their cookies if you like them. You know, so really having healthy food around for the whole family is a great way of controlling that urge, or at least offsetting any of you wandering into the kitchen bored and you start to graze on unhealthy foods. But yeah, go see Colleen's video. It's much more adorable than mine.
Yours is so great.
Because everything she does is adorable. If you haven't noticed. She keeps wanting to film me, but she's the cute one. I'm not going to argue about this, cameraman. That may be Colleen. I'm the talent. Hey, you're going to mess up my hair.
I'll stimulus manage you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like a?
Is this stimulus management?
Oh, this is just positive reinforcement,
Okay.
straight out. Yes, I'll do more YouTube videos if you do that.
Perfect.
So I said 2 bonus items. They're less stimulus management than just good ideas. Bonus item number 1, make weight loss social. Make healthy eating social. So what does that mean? It means if you have a family member who also wants to eat healthy, and I'm always saying, don't have the goal be losing weight. Have it being healthy, having more energy. You know, if you're struggling with thyroid problems, you already have energy problems anyway. You want to be eating in a way that gives you energy. High fat, you know, empty calorie foods do not give you energy. They give you a short burst and then you're just lethargic afterwards. So one of the things that is an environmental stimulus is if you have a partner in healthy lifestyle, healthy eating that lives with you. If you can get your spouse or partner to agree to do healthier things, if you can get kids.
Are you getting lots of good sunscreen on?
Yes.
Okay.
Fairies.
We are fairies. Make sure you get everything. You don't want to get
Do you want me to be
burnt.
burnt?
No.
Kids are particularly good because they are often very motivated to help mommy or daddy in their healthy journey, and they always want to do something. So if you get them helping you, you almost can't back out. And then they're going to help you change your environment. They're going to help point out when you shouldn't put something on a shopping list. They're going to remind you to be physically active, to go for that walk. There's nothing more fun than walking with partners, spouses, kids. You get to talk to them, they're adorable, everyone's happy. So make someone a partner. Then they actually are a stimulus item because there's something in your environment that's cueing you to be healthier. And then the other thing is you start to be a good role model for your kids. Kids don't need sugary cookies. They don't need some of the crap that we buy for them. They demand it, and maybe they see the other kids eating it at school, so they want that kind of stuff. But once you start being consistent with healthy food for yourself and for them, they actually start to get into it with you, and they can even cue you to purchase healthy things.
They're coming for you, Bridget.
Yeah,
They found where I hid the cocaine.
The second bonus, the mother of all stimulus challenges, are buffets. Don't go to them. If you do happen to go, just have a plan of having one plate and what you're going to put on the plate, and then stick with that. Again, it's not an ideal situation because you've got just unlimited, usually unhealthy options sitting in front of you in your visual field that is exactly the kind of stimulus thing that's the hardest to turn down. But try to avoid them. If you do go, really try to just limit it by plates of food. All these things I'm trying to tell you have the benefit of not being complicated. They're hard to do, some of them, but they're not complicated. One of the things, I'm all for calorie counting. I'm very much keeping track of what you eat using an app on your iPhone or Android device, or even just pencil and paper. Critically important. That will help you. A lot of research shows that people who track what they eat, even if they have some times where they eat unhealthy, they still end up getting back on track because they're tracking everything. So you want to do that, but that's a little complicated. Still want to do it. All these stimulus management things, how hard is it to move your chair from one side of the room to the other? It's hard often to turn down buying some snack crackers, Doritos, whatever, but once you do that and it's not in your house, you can't go to eat them. So some of these are nice kind of dichotomous black and white decisions that are not particularly hard to understand. They're not nuanced. So yeah, but every study about overeating is portion size is a big problem. Having access, having those stimuli, which are those, available foods that are unhealthy, our willpower always erodes away and we have to go eat them. So try this stuff along with every other delightful suggestion that the delightful Colleen made. And I'm going to use the word delightful because, oh, no laughing, Colleen, behind the camera. Because, oh my gosh, I tell you, Colleen is my inspiration. I have a history of loving unhealthy foods. And when she was recovering from her thyroid storm, and then she had her thyroid ablated or destroyed, and she gained a lot of weight. She was the one, she still records everything. I mean, she still only purchases healthy foods, only eats so much, but she really changed her whole taste to really like, what she's eating. So you can actually, over time, you can kind of break the addiction of those high calorie, empty calorie, sugary, ultra salty kind of foods, because we do kind of get used to those. But she's my inspiration. Yes. Hey, no talking behind the camera.
Sorry.
Yeah. This information is all behavioral, but if you have any medical concerns, please do consult your medical professional to make sure you're doing okay.
You are the best.
No.
Thank you, Dr. Todd.